Many cars became famous throughout history, some because of their sales success, some because of their racing performance. But today's exemplar had a way darker, chaotic, and criminal history. The infamous couple Bonnie and Clyde met each other on the first days of 1930. Clyde was recently arrested and Bonnie helped him escape jail, smuggling a gun to her newly acquired partner in crime. Yet, Clyde was still recaptured after the jailbreak and stayed in the can until 1932. In that year, right after Clyde got released, the duo teamed up again with some other associates and started a spree of robberies that target everything from restaurants and gas stations to small banks and even National Guard armories. This time of terror lasted until 1934, and in the end, the group was responsible for the deaths of at least 9 police officers and 4 civilians. Since the beginning, the Barrow Gang quickly realized the importance of firepower when it came to confrontations with the law. The group, always outnumbered, was involved in at least 5 major shootouts, and they would utilize a wide variety of guns during these firefights. Clyde's go-to weapon was the Browning Automatic Rifle, or BAR. A friend of his gave him 2 rifles stolen from the Missouri National Guard Armory, and he instantly fell in love with the sheer amount of firepower the fully automatic 30-06 rifle could deliver. Clyde cut the barrel and gas tube of his BAR and would use improvised 40-round capacity magazines in this beast of a gun. The 30-06 could easily penetrate the cars at the day, so the police had a rough time going against the group. They also robbed 2 other National Guard armories in Oklahoma and Illinois and got their hands in a huge amount of guns, ammo, and magazines. The gang always stole fast cars to use in their getaways, so it's not a surprise when the last ride of the couple was in a 1934 Ford Tudor V8. The Ford Motor Company introduced in their 1932 lineup the brand new Ford Flathead V8. The engine was the first V8 produced to be used in common cars, and it was capable of producing 75 horsepower from its 221 cubic inches. These numbers might sound small by today's standards, but the previous Ford model was equipped with an engine that could produce mere 40 horsepower, which meant that Clyde's car of choice had almost twice the amount of what the cops would be using. Clyde's love for the V8 was such that he even wrote a letter to Henry Ford himself in April of 1934.
Dear sir, while I still have got breath in my lungs, I will tell you what a dandy car you make. I have drove Fords exclusively when I could get away with one. For sustained speed and freedom from trouble, the Ford has got every other car skinned, and even if my business haven't been strictly legal, it don't hurt anything to tell you what a fine car you got in the V8. Yours truly, Clyde Barrow.
After 2 years of this crime spree, the authorities decided to bring out the big guns. A party led by former Texas Ranger Frank Hammer was tracking Bonnie and Clyde's movements since February 1934. The officer realized that the gang had a consistent movement near the borders of some Midwestern states and set up an ambush in Louisiana. Hammer had 5 other officers with him. All of the men were carrying automatic or semi-automatic rifles, shotguns, and their handguns. Some said these men waited a whole day, some others say they waited a couple of hours, but the final result was the same. When the lawman heard the sound of the Ford V8 engine, two of the officers could visually identify the couple, and they opened fire on the car. According to the official statement released by the agents back in the day,
"We opened fire with the automatic rifles. They were emptied before the car got even with us. Then we used shotguns. There was smoke coming from the car, and it looked like it was on fire. After shooting the shotguns, we emptied the pistols at the car, which had passed us, and ran into a ditch about 50 yards on down the road. It almost turned over. We kept shooting at the car even after it stopped. We weren't taking any chances."
And they were right to be concerned, because after the ambush, the agents went through the Ford and realized that the duo was carrying nothing less than
3 full-auto Browning automatic rifles, 1 20-gauge Remington Model 11 semi-auto shotgun, 1 10-gauge Winchester Model 1901 lever-action shotgun, 1 .32 caliber M1903 Colt pistol, 1 .38 Colt Detective Special revolver, 1 .25 ACP Colt pistol, 1 .45 caliber Colt M1909 revolver, and nothing less than 7 .45 ACP Colt M1911 pistols.
They also had 100 loaded 20-round BAR magazines and at least 3,000 rounds of other assorted type of ammunition. Their crime spree stopped. The Tudor, its owners, and their history were immortalized. The original car is now sitting in an exposition in the Prim Valley Resort and Casino in Nevada. If you would like to, pay them a visit. But remember, don't try to rob it. Otherwise, you might end up having the same fate as the infamous couple.